Hey everybody, I hope you're having a good day. We are going to tackle mail order 101. So mail order dentures. I get a ton of questions. Who do I go to? What company to use? What's the most reputable? What do they offer? Da 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 da. And so I want to kind of clear up a couple things. For one, I don't work for any of them. I am just a customer that thought this information needed to get out. It was an untapped resource for people that could actually save money, or people that couldn't afford dentures, maybe had a different avenue. So that's why I help. That's why I get the information out there. I'm not affiliated with anyone. I had permission to open up a Facebook group, and that's exactly what I did. So mail order. There are a lot of companies out there. There's also a lot of scam companies out there. There's one in particular that has started several different companies after being accused of fraud. They would close down that business, reopen up another one. So you need to be careful when you're choosing a mail order company. With that said, you need to do your research. So one, you need to look at their reviews. How current are they? How many of them are there? You need to keep in mind that in this e-commerce world, not every company is going to satisfy every client, and that is a reality. Some people go in with very unreasonable expectations. They don't know their own issues. They think that because 10 other dentists told them they couldn't do it, that a mail order company could. So keep that in mind. You need to look at how long the company has been around. What are their policies? What are the materials they use? What are their payment options? Things like that. Just make sure that you're using a reputable company. Now, I'm an advocate for Russell Klein just because I was a customer and that I can speak on that experience. My husband was a customer as well. I know a lot of other customers, so I actually have a pretty clear standard, view of how it works and the clientele. So there are other companies out there, but you need to research them. You need to see what their actual policies are. If you're contacting them and you're getting nothing but robo responses, I would move on to the next one, because that shows you what level of care you're going to get from them. They're just looking for the money. Also look at ones that offer payment options. They offer to give you the dentures right away and give you payments. You want to look at the materials they're using, and if they're actually using their own lab, or if they're outsourcing, things like that. Where do these materials come from? Do they order from overseas? Stuff like that. You do not want to get an appliance and put it in your mouth and have an allergic reaction to it. So make sure that you actually research all of these things and ask them questions to your satisfaction before sending them any money. Always make sure you get a receipt and that it's documented. You want to make sure that they're licensed in their state, and that the health department has, given them the okay with their lab. Those are important things to look at, because anybody can pop up and claim to be a denture maker online. You just need to be careful with that. There's a lot of people out there making their own dentures, but that doesn't mean they should be making other people's dentures. So just ask questions if they're actually licensed denture techs and things like that. It's really important. A lot of dentists outsource to mail order companies, so it's a pretty reasonable thing, but you want to make sure you're using the right people, because a lot of times you can't fight back. You're not going to get your money back unless you pay with a credit card and you can dispute the purchase. So, for one, you need to know what your case is. If you haven't been to the dentist and you're looking at mail order, one, you need to go to the dentist. You need to know what you're dealing with and what your needs are. You need to know if you need a partial, if you need a full denture, if you need, a full set. It's also important for you to know what your complications are. Do you have an extreme overbite, underbite? Do you have a natural off midline? Things like that. I know some people that have had extremely high expectations of mail order that really should have been chairside. If your dentist has told you that you need reconstructive surgery or certain things like that, I'm pretty sure that mail order isn't the right avenue for you, because they can't be hands-on with you. If you have a pretty straightforward case, then yeah, it's doable. So make sure you look at the reviews. Make sure that you look into the company. You can look on Facebook, Google, whatever search engine you want to use. Make sure that you try to talk to other clients or customers. Again, keep in mind, not everybody can be happy all the time. Expectations is a very, very good thing to look at. What do they expect from this company, and how did it work for them? How are they communicating with you when you ask questions? Very important. Where did the material come from? What do they use? What do they offer? Now, as far as Russell Klein goes, I do not at all advocate for anyone who is a new denture wearer to get any sort of ultra thin from Russell or anybody else. The problem with that is that it's a very fine, non-porous material, and soft liners don't work with it very well. So that creates a lot of frustration. This wasn't really known in the beginning, so there was a lot of trial and error with it. But the problem is that it's such a quality material that nothing will stick to it. It's not meant to have anything added to it. It's meant to be just formed to your gums. So it's not meant to have extra material stuffed in there and actually stick. And even when you rough them up and things like that, it isn't very successful. So if you're a new denture wearer, you need to stick with the acrylic, because that's what's going to help you get through the process of healing and adjustments. If anybody tells you to get, you know, a nylon based in the very beginning, I would actually get a second opinion, because it's not a very good idea. Partials and things like that can be just a little bit different, but when it comes to a full denture, no. You need to realize that they also don't always work on the weekends. So if you email them on a Friday and are upset that they haven't gotten back to you on Sunday afternoon, wait until they open and they can actually have time to respond to you. A lot of them only do email. They don't have phone calls and things like that they do because of state laws and their interaction with clients and things like that. So keep in mind, a lot of it will be through email or the service provider they use, like Etsy or a website. If you're a new denture wearer and you want temporary dentures from a mail order service, because they're cheaper and they're going to be mostly disposable, a lot of them don't offer immediates. The difference between a temporary and immediate: a temporary will be something that you no longer use when you get your permanent. So it will be a new set of dentures. An immediate is one where you will pick the teeth and all of that. They'll make it. When it's time for you to get your permanents, they will use that denture and rebase it to be your permanents. So that's the difference. So if you're going to get temporaries through mail order service, keep this in mind. You don't always do a wax try-in with that, because you still have your teeth. So they're going to make you a temporary denture after you send them your impressions, and then they are going to send you the denture for you to take for your extraction day. So wax models, every once in a while somebody wants one just to see what it's going to look like, and it's not a common thing, but it does happen. It's kind of a waste of money, honestly, unless you have money to throw away at it. Not really a big deal. My husband and I both did immediates with Russell Klein, and they were amazing. So it's just really up to you. But wax try-in. So you want to ask if that's something that they provide, because that's your option. If you're actually healed and ready to go for your full denture or whatever it is, ask if they do a wax try-in. You're going to pay for it. Everybody charges for it. Your dentist charges for it. Labs charge for it. Everybody itemizes this stuff. So it's kind of a la carte. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But this is your chance to look at the teeth, look at the fit, see how they feel, things like that. It's a great opportunity before they make the permanent product. This is your chance to change anything, because if they make the final product and you want to then change stuff, they're going to charge you. So ask about the wax try-in. It's a great option to actually see it before it's made in the final stage. It's a good thing. Ask about their international policy. Do they ship overseas? What does that cost? What their time frame is? That's important too. They're going to basically send you an impression kit. You're going to buy it. They're going to send it to you. I recommend, if you're not comfortable doing this at home, take it to a dentist. They will do it for you. Might charge you, but they will do it for you, and 9 times out of 10 it's done correctly, so you don't have to worry about it being misdone and actually having to do it again. So taking it to your dentist is a really great way to do it and actually have it be a little less hassle, more hassle-free. They're going to send you that. You do the impression, you send it back. Russell will let you know if the impressions are good or not, and then you will pay for the permanent appliance, whatever it is that you order from him. And then he will ask you, depending on your situation, do you want a wax try-in? You will have to pay for it, but he will send it to you. It's kind of a mock made in wax. The real teeth are there, so you can feel it. He also gives a horseshoe option, which means that the palate is kind of taken out of the denture, which is really nice. doing a wax try-in as a horseshoe is a really nice way to see if it's something that you might like. So it's worth giving it a shot. So if you're interested in the horseshoe option, he will do it in a wax model for you to try it out. So I like that. Not every company offers that, so kind of keep that in mind. You want to look at their refund policies, how long these guys have been around, stuff like that. So if you're getting a bad vibe from them, skip it over. Search the next one. It is not worth it to waste your time, money, and frustration on a company that is going to kind of jerk you around. So make sure that you check on the validity of their company, of their policies, where they get their stuff from, you know, how they deal with complaints or refunds and things like that. Just make sure that you're comfortable with it. Some do both. Some do temporary and permanent appliances. Some do only permanent. Just depends on where you go and who you choose. If you're stateside, usually the shipping's pretty reasonable. If you're out of state or out of country, it might be more, and the time frame could be considerably different. Like if you're in New Zealand, it's like the longest shipping in the world. So just keep that in mind. The prices all vary. If they offer payment plans, just kind of look into that on the material they use and stuff like that. Everybody has different options, so it's hard to just pinpoint it to one specifically. So giving a blanket description, basically know your case, know if it's complicated, research the companies, research their policies, refund policies, all of that stuff. Once you're ready, make sure that you have a secure payment option. Make sure that everything is documented through email back and forth. They're not going to get you on the phone usually because of laws and things like that. They kind of have to be a little bit careful about who they give dental advice to as a lab. So they usually don't have a lot of phone interaction with the public. It's usually through a service provider or through email or something like that, like Etsy and things like that. That's who Russell uses. So just keep that stuff in mind and have reasonable expectations that if you have a complicated case, it might not be the best option. Also, mail order means mail, and it means you're dealing with the shipping. So that takes time. You have to mail things back and forth. You have to have a reasonable time frame. If you've done your impression and it's been a couple months, you might want to talk about doing another one before the appliance is made, just so that you have the most up-to-date impression, because if you've had rapid shrinkage and things like that, you want to have the most recent impression so that you get the best possible fit. So just kind of keep that in mind. Even dentist offices have weird refund policies and stuff like that on dentures. Most mail orders don't have a warranty, so that's something to keep in mind as well. You can ship them back and have them adjusted and things like that, but mail order is really for people who are comfortable learning how to adjust their dentures at home, or have reasonable expectations, non-complicated cases, and are okay with the process. So I know that some people go through mail order even with complicated cases because it's a more less expensive option, and so it is something to keep in mind as well. But always keep in mind, cheaper doesn't always mean better. So if they're giving you a really low quote for a denture, you might want to think about that. It's not always the best option to get a $200 denture. Now, I got a $200 denture and it was great. It was before Russell got really popular. And I paid $475 for a full set of temporary dentures, and they were amazing. I wore them for 4 months and I love them. So, but just keep in mind that you just want to make sure you do your research, ask lots of questions, connect with people on Facebook or other forums to ask other people their experiences. Again, keep in mind, not everybody can be happy. If they don't disclose their complications, they're never going to be satisfied with the product. So you have to kind of keep an open mind about that. If they've ditched 5 other dentists and now are complaining about mail order, well, you kind of get the picture. So just do your research, make sure you're involved in it, and that you look at all the different avenues and aspects, look at a few different companies, see what one suits your needs, and go from there. But I'm happy to answer questions for you guys, no matter what it is. I will try my best to steer you in the right direction. I have a group on Facebook for Russell Klein customers. It's also just for denture wearers or people new to the experience. It's a really great positive support place, so it's really helpful. It is a great place to connect with other Russell Klein customers to get their input. Not everybody has a happy experience with mail order, and that's just the reality of it, so you have to keep that in mind. Russell has a really good success rate just because he's been around for a while and he's kind of a smaller operation. He has gotten more popular, so the waiting time has increased a little bit and things like that. But when it comes to mail order, knowledge is power. You want to make sure that you ask questions, you research, you make sure that it's right for you. It has a really great, you know, avenue for, you know, less expensive quality dentures. But you have to look at what you're getting into. You're looking at time frames, you're looking at not being able to be chair side, and it does add a little bit of extra added stress. So I don't really have a lot of problems with my dentures. I had a natural midline offset, so that did create some you know, immediate issues with me, but it's been corrected and I'm really good with that. So knowing what you're up against with your own self is really important. So the more you can advocate for yourself, the better experience you will have. And that's my most important tip. Advocate for yourself, know your case, and do your research. 3 biggest ones right there. So if I can help you guys with anything or give you any links, let me know. I'm happy to answer questions to the best of my ability or point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one.